You no longer need to raise your voice, argue, or prove your worth to someone who disrespects you. There's a far more powerful way to handle those moments, and it begins with the right silence at the right time. In this video, you'll learn 5 stoic attitudes that can disarm anyone who tries to belittle you. They're quiet strategies, yet relentless, and the best part is you don't need to confront anyone directly. You only need to master yourself. Stoic philosophy was born in ancient Greece and flourished in Rome, carrying through the centuries with one central lesson. You can't control what happens to you, but you have complete control over how you choose to respond. Seneca said, "Nothing is more admirable than remaining calm in the face of injustice." Epictetus taught that it's not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. And Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike the one who wronged you." These men lived in brutal times, yet they found a path of balance, dignity, and self-control, even when facing insults, betrayals, and constant challenges. And what they discovered applies perfectly to your life today. Because modern disrespect often comes disguised as sarcasm, interruptions, mocking glances, or subtle put-downs. But the Stoic response remains the most effective, with posture, clear boundaries, and a mind that refuses to bend under provocation. Attitude 1. Don't react immediately. Reacting on impulse is like handing over your dignity on a silver platter. That's exactly what the disrespectful person is hoping for, to make you lose control. The Stoics called this the conscious pause. It's the moment you take a deep breath, count to 3, and remind yourself, it's not about what they do to you, it's about what you do with it. Luke learned this from his friend Helen, a philosopher. Instead of snapping back when Mark mocked him, Luke began to answer calmly. That quiet composure disarmed the aggressor without raising his voice. Picture your next argument. Someone provokes you, you feel the heat rising. But instead of answering right away, you breathe, observe, and then choose to react as you always have or to act as you never have before. That pause might seem small, but it marks a before and after. Because the one who controls the timing of their response controls their own strength. Attitude 2. Use serenity as a weapon. The loudest voice is not always right, and the calm voice almost always has control. Matching the aggressor's tone is like stepping into a minefield where no one walks away unharmed. But when you keep your voice steady, low, and confident, something interesting happens. The other person loses their ground. John, a community leader, was constantly challenged by colleagues with harsh words. In the past, he would respond at the same level, fueling conflicts. But once he applied Stoic wisdom, everything changed. When attacked again, he simply replied, "I understand your point. Shall we find a solution together?" The result: silence, immediate disarmament. Seneca said, "Calm words have more power than shouting." Serenity is not passivity, it's emotional intelligence in action. It's like a sharp blade that cuts quietly but with precision. Speak firmly, speak peacefully, speak like someone who has nothing to prove, only a position to hold. Attitude 3. Practice Stoic indifference. Not every attack deserves a response, and often ignoring is the most powerful answer. Stoic indifference is not coldness, it's wisdom. It's the ability to look at a provocation and think, does this really matter to the person I want to be? Amanda, a dedicated teacher, received malicious and unfair criticism from colleagues. At first, she exhausted herself trying to defend against every comment, until she read Marcus Aurelius, "If someone despises you, that is their problem." From then on, she created a filter. Does this affect my integrity or just my ego? When she got an aggressive email, she breathed, read it, and didn't reply. She simply kept doing excellent work. The critic lost their power, and Amanda gained peace. Epictetus said, "What disturbs you is not what happens, but what you think about what happens." Practicing indifference protects your focus, your energy, and your identity. Ask yourself, will this matter in a week, in a year? If the answer is no, ignore it with elegance. Attitude 4. Show excellence in silence. The best response to disrespect is excellence, not with words but with actions that speak for you. Ryan, a young architect, was constantly underestimated by an older colleague. Instead of arguing or trying to justify himself, he chose a different strategy, delivering flawless work. Inspired by Epictetus, who said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it," Ryan began refining every project to the smallest detail. Over time, his results shone so brightly that even his superiors began praising him directly. The critical colleague fell silent in the face of undeniable evidence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The reward of virtue is to be in harmony with it." Silent excellence has that power. It commands respect without raising your voice, without confrontation. When someone tries to belittle you, don't try to prove you're good. Be good. Excellence is a light. It doesn't argue, it simply shines. Attitude 5. Seek self-knowledge before any reaction. Every provocation that shakes you reveals a wound that hasn't healed yet. That's why, before reacting to others, you must look inward. Julia was a young and competent doctor, yet every criticism devastated her. She began to realize her reaction came not only from the criticism itself, but from old insecurities she had never faced. After reading Marcus Aurelius, "No one can escape from themselves," she began a process of self-reflection. Whenever she felt triggered, she asked herself 3 questions. What am I feeling? Where is this coming from? What does this say about me? Over time, she learned to distinguish constructive criticism from empty attacks, and she discovered something powerful. When you know yourself, no one can define you from the outside. Seneca said, "No one can approach wisdom without first understanding themselves. Self-knowledge is invisible armor. When you understand your pain, your strengths, and your limits, you no longer react on impulse. You choose. And the one who chooses consciously leads even their own emotions." You've just learned 5 stoic attitudes that not only disarm those who disrespect you, but also shield your peace, your strength, and your identity. Maybe tomorrow someone will test your limits. Maybe a criticism or a mocking glance will come your way. But now you have tools. And more than that, you have awareness. Remember Luke, Helen, Amanda, Ryan, and Julia. None of them needed to win with shouting. They all won with presence, composure, and a posture that spoke louder than any provocation. Seneca said, "The soul becomes stronger by resisting blows." And Marcus Aurelius added, "The best revenge is to be unlike the one who wronged you." Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 attitudes resonated with you the most? Which one do you need to practice more in this phase of your life? Share it in the comments. And if this message spoke to you, like this video, share it with someone who needs to reclaim their power, and subscribe to Stoic Spring to keep walking this path. Peace doesn't come from others being silent. It comes from your ability to keep the silence that matters.